Hi, this is John from MJG Education. Today we're going to work on the PTE academic listening task, multiple choice, single answer. In the textbook PTE writing, you can find at least 10 examples of cause to effect and effect to cause, if need be. It also has an extensive section of grammar and lots of essay examples as well. You can follow MJG Education on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Tumblr. We'll be updating that constantly, as with our homepage. We specialize in tutorials for the time being, as our website is being developed. So tutorials in reading, writing, listening, and speaking. We also do lots of mock tests that include feedback, oral feedback, if we do them through Zoom, and of course you'll get feedback in a written form as well. We like to emphasize too that we're a Canadian company. You can save 35% if you're dealing with companies that charge you in US dollars. By all means, come back and check us out. We'll save you a fortune. Anyways, thank you very much and have a nice day wherever you are. This presentation will cover test instructions, test procedure, things you should know to be test wise, 3 examples, practice for you, and a conclusion. These are the test instructions that you'll find on this task, on the test. Listen to the recording and answer the multiple choice question by selecting the correct response. Only one response is correct. In terms of test procedure, before you start, read the prompt carefully. Is it asking for a cause, an inference, a speaker's purpose? Skim the answer options quickly. The recording will begin after 5 seconds. Now, while you're listening, take notes. It says, focus on keywords and continue to listen till the end. This isn't always the case with multiple choice, single answer. Many people tell me that they just listen through the recording for the gist of what's being said. They remember enough of the answer options and they can choose immediately when they finish. So that's possible too. The problem sometimes is when you're taking notes, you can't listen, right? Because you're concentrating on what you're writing. To each his own, however. Some of you prefer taking notes. Others just listen all the way through. Do your best in any event. Now, if you've been taking notes or just listening, just before you answer, reread the prompt. Know what the question is asking. Know what the prompt is asking. Read the options carefully. There'll be at least 3, 4, or 5. Eliminate the incorrect options. You can refer to your notes here or just remember. Eliminate options not mentioned. Refer to your notes again. It says, try not to choose an option just because it has some of the same words. And this goes back to context. You have to understand the gist of what's being said. In my opinion here, you can probably eliminate half your answers right off the bat. And there'll be 2, maybe a third one that's close, but usually it's down to 2. This is where your notes will help you. Or if you're just listening, hopefully you'll remember through the context or the gist of what's being said. You should know that there's only maybe 2 or 3 multiple choice single answers in the listening section. Each answer is worth only 1 mark each. This is why some of you will just listen to get the answer correct, whereas others will be taking notes. You'll have 20 seconds to read through this prompt and the answer options. On the following slide, you're going to listen, and then you'll have 10 seconds before the next slide appears with the correct answer. So you can stop your video if you like.
So in 2011, someone broke into my sister's office at the university where she teaches in Nigeria. Now, thankfully, the person was caught, arrested, and charged to court. But on getting to court, the clerks who were assigned to my sister's case informed her that they wouldn't be able to process the paperwork unless she paid a bribe. Now, at first, she thought it was part of a practical joke, but then she realized they were serious, and then she became furious.
You have 20 seconds.
But the important thing to study is thinking, because emotions are really, each emotional state is really a different way to think. And the idea that it's something separate that colors how you think, which is the traditional idea, is what's kept us from regarding emotions as very mysterious. If you ask people about what part of psychology do they think is hard, and you say, well, what about thinking and emotions? Most people will say emotions are terribly hard, they're incredibly complex, I have no idea of how they work. But thinking is really very straightforward. It's just sort of some kind of logical reasoning or something.
This is example 3. You have 20 seconds.
So evidently, societies in some areas are more fragile than in other areas. How can we understand what makes some societies more fragile than other societies? The problem is obviously one relevant to our situation today, because today as well there are some societies that have already collapsed, such as Somalia and Rwanda and the former Yugoslavia. There are also societies today that may be close to collapse, such as Nepal, Indonesia, and Colombia. What about ourselves? What is there that we can learn from the past that would help us avoid declining or collapsing in the way that so many past societies have?
The speakers for this task were difficult to listen to, and that was done on purpose, because you will get a variety of speakers. You won't get someone who speaks as clearly as I do, perhaps. Since there are only 2 or 3 multiple-choice single answers on your exam, many people read the answer options and just listen for the correct answer. However, taking notes may help winnow down the responses. The best approach is understood by you alone, because people have different learning styles. So it's completely up to you which way you go about it, but you're going to have to practice a lot and get used to different types of voices.